it says we're live. This is not going to be a coin video. I got a plan. It's a business plan online here. Let me take you over to the screen. Where the hell did that go? I had it here, and I figured I'd just well, I need to practice with the darn thing. Let me kill that button. Bring this up. So I thought I'd just do it live. Why not? Okay, let's see. Here's the screen. There. And I put the link up before, and some people have looked at it, but also the link is, right now it's below the video. If you want to click on that, you'll be able to get over to this. It's a Google document, so you'd have to have a Google account. But if you're on YouTube or have a YouTube account, so you can, chat over here live, then you'd be able to click on this document and review the darn thing. There's about, I don't know, 189 pages. The short version is 20 pages. All right. It's kind of extensive, and it's a plan for putting together a business with well, local folks doing local things for the local community, for their own benefit and for the benefit of, well, everybody involved and everybody nearby. It's involved, but I thought I'd like to do a series of videos to fully explain this thing, because it is it's extensive. I'll tell you that. Who's in here? There's Stephen Coins and Silverworks. Howdy, howdy, Coinzilla. Coin Dragon never sleeps. Okay. Well, I figured the best way to do it is just draw it on a piece of paper. I got very few images at the ready, but I'm working on that. But let's face it, I'm not a graphics guy. Putting together the graphics for a nice sharp presentation, it's just not my thing. Coins are easy because I can take pictures of the coins right here with enough cameras. There. So I'll just scribble. What are my limits here? Don't go past here. All right, somewhere around there. Don't go over. Okay, right around here. And let's see, where's my margins up here on the page? Somewhere up there. And now let's see, right here. Yeah, this is my studio. Okay, in the bottom of the page, and over to there. Okay, there. Well, that's most of the page. Yeah, we can make that work. There's Misfit Coins. Good to see you. Just got my check. What coin should I buy? The best one you can get. The most expensive one you can get. But get it at a good price. Don't just go out and throw your cash away and figure it's shiny. That's good enough. Yeah. Get the kind of coin that's going to be investor grade. That's going to hold its value through a recession. Right? It's going to pick up value over time. They're out there. Typically, they're going to be the key dates, right? The 1909 S, VDB, those 1913 V nickels might be a little pricey if you just got a $1,200 check, but there's some good stuff out there for sure. Just be really, really, really picky, and you can find some stuff. All right, let's get into this. What I want to do is a series of videos to better explain this, but I got to get some practice in. And if I just sit here talking to myself, dude, I'm just going to lose my mind. So look, you can listen, I can practice, and if you think it needs improvement, just put a star over there in the chat and say, hey man, you have lost us. We don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I'll be able to respond to that, because I'll probably watch the chat as we go. Okay, let's say, what the hell are we talking about? Cooperative Enterprise. I'm back in town when I lived in town. This is, 10 to 20 years ago. And I got a lawnmower, and I'm mowing the lawn. The lawnmower is kind of frigged up. It's got one wheel kind of wobbly. The handle's bent. The thing, you got to pull it 37 times to get it to start. Right? Then I listen to my neighbor is mowing her lawn too, and she's got an old lawnmower. Okay, so I look at the street. Here's Anderson Street. Right? Here's whatever that street was, South Lake or one of the lakes, I think. There's another street up here. This is my house. This is Jill. We got this girl used to be the boyfriend of a guy who rented an apartment from me. That was her house. This was two old ladies who died, and then this lady bought it. There's a house here. Then this house right here. This was the girl's mother, and she used to live in apartment 8 when I took care of the apartment. So I had my same neighbors. It was kind of neat. And you got the old fellows here. What the heck were there? I forget what their names were. He was a cop in Chicago. They were dinosaurs though. But I got a lawnmower, right? Here's my lawnmower. Okay, like I can draw. And Jill's got a lawnmower. Same damn thing. She goes up to Home Depot, gets a lawnmower. She's in there shopping the same time I get. What are you getting? I say, lawnmower. I said, me too. We should do something and work together on this. Because I'm going to use my lawnmower, what, for an hour every 2, 3 weeks? Huh. She's got a lawnmower. My brother's got a lawnmower. Got a lawnmower over here. I need an easy way to draw a lawnmower. They actually hired somebody. They were just too old to push a lawnmower, so they hired somebody to bring their lawnmower over, right? And then they got a guy to push it. Some kid or whatever. But everybody's got a lawnmower. Everybody. You got scores, hundreds, thousands of thousands of buildings, homeowners in town, and everybody's got a freaking lawnmower, and they all mow their lawn for 4 hours every third Sunday and put the thing back in the shed. But every now and then you get that one guy who's got to mow the lawn at 6:30 in the morning on freaking Sunday. What the hell's wrong with you? Go to bed. Or somebody late Monday because they were off to church on Sunday. You all ears. Well, good thing. Okay. Wouldn't it make sense instead to just get people together? Hey, man, let's pitch in and get a lawnmower. Because that lawnmower me and Jill got, they were $300. It wasn't the best lawnmower, but we didn't have all that big of a, big a yard. I had, what was that? It was a quarter acre in town. That was 0.25 acres. Jill had a little place. That was like a 15th of an acre. No, 0.15. This is a pretty good sized place over here. I think that was 0.4 or more acres. About the same over here. These two together was about a half acre, right? But you got how many lawnmowers? You start adding it up. Just this little group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You got 8. And we're going to do some math. You got 8 owners who have 8 lawnmowers, and every lawnmower costs you anywhere from $250 to $500. She had a riding lawnmower, and they're a little more expensive. But let's say we all got the same shitty ass little cheap lawnmower they got up at the Home Depot for $300. $300. You put it all together, we're all collectively spending $2,400 for lawnmowers. Use it for an hour, you put it away for another 3 weeks. Could we not instead pitch in and get one lawnmower? One mower is $300. Well, you divide that by 8 ways. What is 300 over 8? I'm going to have to do where's my calculator? I got to have the math laid out ahead of time. $300 divided by 8 equals, well, let's get a gas tank in there too, and you got $40 a person. Okay, $40, right, is better than $300 each. And $300 for all of us is a whole lot better than $2,400 total. Jesus, for the same money, right? Because we're all spending $300 for a lawnmower. We could get, let me see, a mower, right? A really decent one too. You can get an edger. Now that's got a little bar, a little spinning wheel. It's like a lawnmower except it's upright, and it trims the grass along your driveway, your pavement, right? You can get an edger. And I had azaleas. Everybody in that town had azaleas. We had bamboo. We had shrubbery, right? Some boxwoods. I think they had some Laura petalums right across the street. So we could get let's see, a weed whacker and a decent one. But for the shrubbery, you got these little things. Looks like a swordfish, right? You got a handle on there. It's you can get them gas or electric powered. So they got an engine kind of rig in here, and it's just a long kind of a thing with teeth. Looks like a freaking swordfish, right? And the blades are in here, and they just move back and forth, right? So this would be the blade. Looks like freaking shark's teeth, and those they reciprocate. They go back and forth. So the bush is able to fit in the teeth, and then the blades on this thing just kind of trim it down until you can sculpt, like, you know, dinosaurs or what I make. I made like a box. Just I just cut the top straight. Hey, it got me fine, and the azaleas loved it, right? So let's see. Let's draw the rest of this. It is a swordfish. No, it's a dinosaur. Here's his nose. There we go. We got a nose on there. He's a happy dinosaur. Dum, da, dum. But that's so we could get that too. So we got a mower, an edger, a weed whacker. We got a bush trimmer. Okay. What else could we get? We could get, let's see, shovels, rakes, maybe a wheelbarrow, because, you know, you use a wheelbarrow every now and again. Okay, we got the hand tools, a wheelbarrow. Those are, what's a wheelbarrow run nowadays? Like $100? It's just a freaking wheelbarrow. Okay, let me, hold on. I frigged up my screen here. I clicked the mouse accidentally and frigged up shit. There. Okay, good. Don't touch the mouse, Ken. I try not to. It calls me. And still, we'd have piles of cash. We'd have enough left over to build a shed. So we can put a lawnmower. Let's see. How do you draw the lawnmower? There, we put a lawnmower in there. Right? You can have a shovel up on the wall hanging down. You can have a rake. How do you draw a rake? There you go. You can have a shelf up here with, oh, let's see, the swordfish, right? You can have a tiller over on this side. All for the same money. But instead, we choose to spend $300 for one lawnmower for each of us. We could do that a whole lot better, I think. Then you get into, if you get too many people involved, Saturday comes and everybody wants a freaking mower. It's a nice day. Hey, man, I need to use a mower. Or you need somebody to unlock the shed. Or you need a piece of property to put the shed on because old Jack over there decided that we were getting into his shed to get our lawnmower at 6:30 in the goddamn morning on a Sunday. A hoe, you can put a hoe in there. Doesn't matter, it's all good. Let me clean up, I got coins flying across the desk. I moved my mouse again. This is so hard. Okay. But there is a point at which this makes sense, right? I mean, do you need every tool they got at Home Depot? Because you could spend $20,000 easily up at the hardware store just getting the tools you need for your house. A ladder, right? Trash barrels. Maybe you need some bigger trash barrels for, you know, for Christmas time when you throw more stuff away. Picnic tables. You name it. If they got it, we all need it. You need a complete set of sockets. You're going to change one freaking nut when you do your oil, right? You need one socket. You don't need 375 different sockets for everything they make. You get the crescent wrenches, and they got 47 different sizes. Usually you need one. You might use two, right? A 1/2 inch, a 9/16, maybe a 3/8. Okay, that's going to handle most of your needs for socket wrenches. A hammer. Hey, I love my hammer. It's done me great. The only thing I hit with it, though, when my hammer's in this hand, is that hand. It's tough out there, let me tell you. But a ladder, for example, you can spend $100, $200. How much you want to spend on a ladder? You need a nice fiberglass ladder that's not going to, you know, hit the power lines and zap itself out. Something that's self-retracting. They got these ladders, they bend, right? They got like 3 or 4 sections. I'm running out of paper here. You got 3 or 4 sections in this ladder, and they got these little clicking hinges in here, which is kind of neat. So you got 3, 4 rungs, and then you got another rung. I can't draw. There it is. Right? And then another one after that. So you could actually set up a couple of these and run some boards across. And Jesus, now you got scaffolding. How about that? Okay. But if I want that, it's going to cost me $600 plus the boards for the scaffolds. And if you want it, it's going to cost you $600 plus the scaffold boards. Wouldn't it make more sense to get several people together to share the darn tools? Okay. Problem number one, we have a litigious society, right? Some guy borrows a lawnmower. His kid uses the lawnmower to mow somebody else's yard, right? Because he wants to make $5. Ends up putting a rock through somebody's window, and whoever owns a house that has the broken window, skip the kid, go after the people that own the lawnmower. So she sues everybody for some outrageous amount of money. Yeah, that sort of thing happens. Uh, you'd have to put controls in. What if the 12-year-old kid runs over his own foot? Are we all the owners, if we have, 8 people pitching in on these tools, are all of these people liable for the 12-year-old who drove over his foot? The way the law is set up, yes. So we got to cover our asses on that. Screw that. I'm too old to mow. I pay someone else to do it. Dang it. Okay. Take it to the next level. What if you had a lot of houses, right? A lot of homeowners involved. Hundreds, perhaps. So everybody pitches in, instead of, $300 over here, instead of $300, they pitch in, say, $1,500. And you got 200 families all pitching. You got 200 people, 200 homeowners, and they're pitching in $1,500 a person. Okay, what's that going to be? 2 times 15 is 30. All right, then add 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'd be $300,000. Now we're talking something different. What can you do with $300,000? Well, first off, you got to have, this is a key issue, is finding 200 homeowners that want to get involved, and all of them have, $1,500. But if you could do it, you could afford a pretty substantial, hell, just get the whole damn property, right? We don't have to put that shed on somebody's land. We just buy the land. You get the whole neighborhood. They found a house that's local. You buy the house. You put up a big smacking giant garage. So now you got your road map over here. Let's see. There you go, with 200 houses on there, and everybody's involved. Okay, now I need to draw this stuff quick and easy. Is there a program that'll draw this stuff for me? Okay, but over here you got another property, and it's for sale. And it's a pretty good sized property. It's got a house. It's got a garage. That's supposed to be a square. And then you got a whole lot of space here for a big fat shed. All right, and in there we can store a dozen or 30 lawnmowers. Everything you need. Okay, so if you went with this sort of plan, you would have the funds for a property, the storage buildings, the equipment, a corporation, a staff, right? Because somebody would have to watch the store over here, keep track of where the lawnmowers are, who has them, whose turn is it this week on each lawnmower. Take care of that, fix the darn things, change the oil, go and get it when it breaks down, declare that we have nothing to do if somebody drives over their foot, handle the phones, take care of insurance. But then we get into this thing called monthly bills. We have liabilities we have to take care of. We have taxes. Let's say the place is paid for outright. We have property taxes, right? If you're running electricity, right, so you can turn the thing on at night, you have a light bill, electric bill. You got a water bill, because the guy's going to be there, right? Keep an eye on the place. He's going to have to use the pooper at some point. He's going to wash the equipment. A hose comes in handy. So you have a water bill, you got a sewer bill. All right. Wi-Fi, well, if you need it for the operation, okay, maybe Wi-Fi would be part of it. And a telephone, internet. Okay, then you got you're going to pay for this guy, so you got payroll. And of course, with payroll, you have everything else that follows suit with that. You're going to have workers' comp insurance. You might want to have liability insurance. So when the kid does drive over his foot, it's okay. You're covered, right? Liability takes care of that. Payroll taxes. Are you going to cut them a check? Do you need a bookkeeper for that? It keeps getting bigger and bigger. But look, you've got, 20 lawnmowers. You got a place to keep the darn things. You got somebody taking care of the books. You got somebody answering the phones. Would it make sense to start that landscaping service? Yeah, all the people who were involved, right, for $1,500, they can come and borrow one of those lawnmowers anytime they like, right? Or they could hire the service. Of course, the service, we're going to take our crew, we're going to derive our crew from these families. You got 200 families. Well, geez, you got a 16, 17-year-old kid, he can mow a lawn. Right? Now, some places, some states have problems with kids and machinery that's moving, so maybe they have to be 18 years old. But I'm going to hire my staff from those 200 families. So my investment is not just in the company, but in seeing that my family has opportunity. Okay, so they go out, they mow lawns, they mow it for anybody in town. We can get a truck, right? Hey man, I need to borrow the truck. Okay, but it's gone Mondays from from 9 to 4. So you fit that in. Maybe how about a cargo trailer, right? You got to go pick up a couch. You know how hard it is to put a couch inside a what are the smart cars? You're not going to do it. You put it on the roof, you're going to kill the smart car. It'll break the windows in. Truck, cargo trailer, all your tools. I mean, all of it, right? Let's say you got a house around this town. You can get a decent property for $100,000. It would have a house, a garage, probably a half an acre, and plenty of room for a big shed. You can put up a big shed for $50,000, and then you have a whole lot of cash left to take care of liabilities for a while, uh, pay the staff for a while, and get some advertising out to make this thing work. And what do you know? Now you have a landscaping company, but the owners can come by. They can borrow the tools. We got them. They can mow their own lawn. Geez, you need some extra pocket change because we got 16 people need to be mowed today. Okay, so you get a crew going, and you have effectively a business that now takes care of itself, paying those liabilities, right? Possibly developing a profit for those 200 people based on their investment, all right? Plus all the people involved, they can borrow the truck, they can borrow the trailer, they can borrow the tools, right? Maybe there's a spare fridge and they're having a big barbecue. Hey man, I need to borrow the fridge. You load up the truck, you drag the trailer behind it, you put the fridge on there, drop it off, bring it back in a week clean. That would work. Let me catch up on chat. Okay, $40 a week. Yeah, that's another way to think about it. Coming up with $1,500 is can be difficult at times. Can you make it a weekly thing? I suspect there'll be ways to come up with the money to make all this happen, right? If you're going to borrow the lawnmower, well, there's maintenance on the lawnmower. There's fuel. You borrow it. It's full of fuel. You bring it back. It's out of fuel. Who paid for your fuel? There are incidental costs associated with this sort of thing. I can see, an upfront cost and then something monthly would work. And that monthly gets you access and keeps everything up and fixed and neat and tidy. And then you wouldn't have to start up with the payroll for the workers' comp and insurance for a yard keeping company. And that could still work. It would pay the bills. And a few $1,000s a month would be more than enough to take care of the payroll for one guy, the water bill, the light bill, the maintenance, keep getting more tools, and it would work just fine. Then I thought, what else could you do? Because you've only got a limited number of things you're going to, once you got every tool out there, then what? Do you go get more trucks, get a rental car? What if somebody, some guests from out of town come in? Can you use that house? Can you put that house to work? And then you make the garage the office. Okay. So now you use the house and rent it out. Do you take this surplus cash and buy more houses? So now you got this one, and that's a rental income. Entirely possible. The people that are involved would be able to decide that. Yep. Now I got into this idea. And it seemed kind of sound, but to come up with 200 families just to buy lawnmowers, is kind of excessive. You would have to have a pretty well-developed plan to see how far you could take this and how to make it work. And the area over which this covers, are you going to drive a mile to go get a lawnmower to mow your lawn? It might be worth it just to spend the 300 bucks so you get the lawnmower right here in your garage. So I looked at other ideas, and pizza came to mind. Where's the pizza? I just had a picture of the pizza. Let's see. Here's a screen, and here's some pizza. Look at that. Look at it. Would you just look at that? You got, what is that? Green onion, some olives, pepperoni. That's got to be, is that ham? Dude, I know this is bacon. I can smell that from here. Oh, God, I want a pizza. How about you guys? Can you go for a big, fat, gooey pizza right now? Okay, there's home. Let's get back to this one. All right. So I did some checking. You ready? In the U.S., in the whole U.S., for every pizza joint, there are 4,000 people. Okay? You take the U.S. population, divide by 4,000, and that's how many pizza shops we got. That's not many, seriously. The top 5 pizza companies that are out there, can you name them? What are the top 5 pizza companies? Because they control 80% of the pizza market. Go ahead and name them off if you can. We'll work on some graphics soon. Yeah, and then I got to break up this whole spiel into chapters so it makes sense and put on like a shirt, get a green screen, make it look like a freaking fancy office, do my hair. Look at my freaking nails. It's tough all the way around. Excuse me. So what are your top 5 pizza shops? Go ahead, guys. You order a pizza, where do you get it from? You got 3. Pizza Hut, Domino's. Let's see, Little Caesar, Pizza, Little Caesar. Papa John's is one more. And I had not heard of it until I moved to Florida. Hungry Howie's. Those are your top 5. They control 80% of the pizza market. 80%. The other 20% are your mom and pop shops. They really don't put out so much pizza. These guys put out all of it, darn near all of it. Pizza Hut, you've had it. It's kind of bland. It's not as spicy as your local shop. Domino's is salty cardboard. Little Caesar is salty cardboard with some fancy crust. Papa John's is pretty good. I'm going to give them that one. But again, it doesn't have that flair and elegance and the mouth appeal that a gourmet pizza shop has. But it's pretty good. I would give them the best out of these top 4 pizzas. And Hungry Howie's is probably in between Papa John's and Little Caesars. It'll get you by. Friday night, you're drinking beer, you need a pizza. Hungry Howie's will do. But if you're eating Domino's, man, you take some cardboard, right? And you paint the top with something wet, and you dump some salt on it, right? And then you shake off whatever doesn't stick, and you got a Domino's pizza. I'm just saying, it's cheap, but that don't mean it's good. Garlic butter crust. Those are pretty good. I could eat that. All right. I did the math to set up a pizza shop. Now I've had my own diner before. I've had a window cleaning company. I buy and sell rare coins. Most of my adult life, I've been self-employed in one way or another. Really, I wouldn't have it any other way. To open up a pizza shop in this town, when I did the numbers last, was about $25,000. $25K. Okay. What's that going to get you? Going to get you a lease. You don't own the property. That's the thing. You got to pay rent, and around here, rent is going to be anywhere from $750 to $1,500 or more per month. Then you got your other liabilities, like we talked about. You're still going to have, there you go. You're still going to have, let's see, sales taxes, electric bill, water bill, probably a gas bill if you're running a gas on the oven, whatever that word is, telephone, internet, payroll, workers' comp, liability, ingredients, non-ingredients, cleaning supplies. Take out the dumpster because guy's going to charge you $200 a week to haul away the dumpster, whether it's full or not. Okay, but this is going to get you such things as a pizza oven. They're quite particular, and there's different ways to make a pizza, believe it or not. You can put it on a conveyor belt, or you can have the kind that are static. You open up the door, you slide in your pizza, you shut the door, it bakes. You got them that are single level, you got them that are double level. They're typically gas. You can get electric pieces, but the conveyor belts are typically electric. Uh, if you're running electric, you don't need an Ansel system for the hood. If you're using gas and you have an open flame, you need an Ansel system for the hood. That's going to drive up that price over here by about $5,000. Okay, so there's different ways to set it up. Doing one's homework is essential in this thing. But for this kind of price, you could take care of your pizza oven. There'd be a cold table. And again, there's different ways you can do that. There are pieces of equipment out there. You can set inserts, little containers that are designed to fit into the top of a refrigerated cooler, right? And the refrigeration is on the bottom here, so you can reach over, take your pepperoni, and put it on your pizza. They work great, except for the one that I had at my diner, which crapped out after 4.5 weeks. $2,000 for a new compressor? I didn't have $2,000 into the whole diner. Okay. Well, we went to plan B on that, which was take tubs and fill them with ice and put the food in there. And it'll work, but then you need an ice machine. And we had a hell of an ice machine there. And that keeps the food cold. You need little things, thermometers, spatulas, little knives and slicers, and those little wheelie pizza cutters, you know, the ones with the handles and the big darn wheel, right? You drive over your hand. Whoa, God, it's going to cut your fingers off. Watch it. Pizza ovens, cold tables, coolers. Now, this could be as simple as a refrigerator. The kind you have at your home, yeah, that's a refrigerator. It's usually too small for the kind of volume you would need to operate a pizza shop, even a low volume pizza shop. You need a 3-bay sink so you can clean those spatulas and the pizza rollers and whatever else equipment you have. A mixer so you can produce your own dough. You need volume. You need various containers. Lots and lots of equipment comes. Container. There you go. Lots of equipment comes into play when you start getting more and more ingredients, because each one would need, you know, its own container. But about $25,000 would do it. So if you had 4,000 people in town, and we've got 60,000 on the county. In this town, 25,000. You know, it's really neat because we got 6 pizza shops. We got 6 pizza shops in this town. We got 25,000 people. We got Pizza Hut. We got a Domino's. There's a Little Caesars. There's a Papa John's. There's a Hungry Howie's. And there's that other one up by the Publix that's got the good pizza. I forget their name. Pizza Guys, Pizza Fellas, Lake City Pizza. That's the name of it. Yeah, these numbers work real good. If you got a town with 4,000 people in it, chances are you got a pizza shop. You get a town with 1,000 people in it, it's going to be tough unless you have a lot of people outside town. Okay, but if you had $25,000 you got to come up with, and you're splitting by, you know, $4,000 here, how much is that per person? I got to do the math. Where's that mouse? 6 times 4, $6 each. There you go. That would be $6 per person. If you can organize 4,000, you'll spend more than that just trying to find 4,000 people. Okay, but let's say you can get a smaller group and still make it function. And I keep coming back to about 200 folks or 200 families as being about right. Uper says, I'm in a town of 250 and we have a pizza shop. Okay. Well, you know, if the people that are investing in this idea eat pizza, that's the ideal. Okay, let's say you got $25,000 and you got 200 people. You need to come up with a cash for. How much is that per person? It's $500. Okay, but it's not 200 people, it's 200 families. And I'm talking to different folks out there saying, how much do you spend on pizza in a month? And you get different, it's different sorts. I don't eat pizza, as one guy says. This guy says, I get a pizza probably once a month, spend 15 bucks, get the soda, get their little cheese sticks, it's like a pizza crust, but with cheese on it. You dip it in the sauce and, well, it's good. Well, you got to try it, man. Okay. And it's like, depending on the pizza, Pizza Hut has a special usually out there for $6 or $7 for a medium pizza that's, salt and cardboard warmed, and they deliver it to you. Okay. If you own the place or if you're one of the owners, you have input into saying, hey, man, we really should put up something better than freaking salty cardboard. Okay, but if you could organize a couple of hundred people, that becomes quite affordable. You mean $500 up front, and then the money I'm already spending on pizza, that's a key part of this plan, comes back to the company. And if it makes a profit, you get a piece of that. Okay, where's Pizza Hut located? What are they? Chicago or something like that? I don't know where Pizza Hut is. I'm going to say, let's say Chicago. I know one of these is Chicago. It might be Papa John's. Domino's. Where are they? I don't know. I'm going to say Atlantic City. That doesn't mean they're from Atlantic City or based in Atlantic City. They probably have a couple of shops in Atlantic City. I'm just giving you an example. Little Caesars. Paducah. I don't know where Little Caesars is based out of. Papa John's, they're out of Smallville. And Hungry Howie's is from Howiestown. Howiestown. All right, this is making me hungry. I'm going to go to bed now. Let me show you that pizza one more time. Where'd that go? Let's see. Here's the screen, and here's... Nope, that's not it. Here's the pizza. Look at it. Would you just look at... Is that a mushroom? Oh, it's got mushrooms and olives and pepper. These are green peppers. That's not a green onion. It's green pepper. This is an onion. This looks like an everything pizza to me. Oh, gosh. When's the last time you had a really good pizza? Weeks, probably. There's home again. Okay. But right now, the way it works, these companies own the shop. Typically, there may be franchises, but a lot of that money that's going to paying for those pizzas is going back to corporate headquarters in Howiestown or Smallville or Atlantic City or Paducah, wherever the hell Paducah is. Over here, right, if you can bring together 200 families to invest $500 a piece and open a pizza shop for $25,000. Now you got to realize these numbers can vary. They might cost you more in your town. All the money that you make when you sell that pizza stays local. Means I get it, you get it, he gets it, they get it, we get it. It doesn't go back to Smallville or Paducah or Chicago or wherever the heck it's going. It stays local. We eat pizza. Why don't we own the pizza that we eat? We're spending money on pizza. Here's a story. Years ago, I was living in Maine, and they opened up a Denny's. Now, I was down by Sam's Club, and you look down in the woods as you're driving by, and there's all these trees. And you drive by the next day, and there's a crew out there cutting down trees. And you look the next day, and there's a crew out there digging up stumps. The next day, it's flat. And then they drop off the building. And by drop it off, I mean they set up the plumbing, they set up the electrical underground, then they covered the whole thing with sand and brought in the building. They poured concrete and set the entire building in place. It was a modular construction. It was up and running 4 days later. So when I say they dropped off a Denny's, I mean exactly that. It came on trucks, and here it is. Okay? One day to stock it up, they got the crew already trained in other towns, and they had the doors open a week after the guys started cutting down trees. Now the whole idea of setting up a Denny's there was, we're going to bring jobs to your community. We're going to bring jobs. Okay, they're going to create 30 jobs. Not too bad for a town of 30,000 people. Geez, you get 1,000 companies like that, you got full employment. It's a beautiful thing. But Denny's, they do things, Denny's way. They have their own company from which they order supplies, and the supplies are distributed by their own distribution company, Proficient Foods. I know this because I used to work for Denny's way back in the day. You know, I'm 21 years old. I got a hat on. I drink beer all night. I get up in the morning and go back and cook some more. It's wonderful. I made a few dollars an hour, but they're gonna create 30 jobs in this town, and the place is gonna make about $2.5 to $3 million a year, a third of which is gonna go right back to corporate. Okay, so they're not really creating jobs so much as taking $1 million out of that local economy and sending that back up to Smallville, or in this case, somewhere in South Carolina, someplace around there. I don't know anymore. It's been, good Lord, 30 plus years since I was working there. So you got 30 jobs making an average of $20,000 per job. That's $600,000 a year, which is all well and good. You get a couple, 3, 4 jobs, managers, probably making 30 to 60,000, depending on how long they've been with the company. But they're shipping out a whole lot more than that back to corporate headquarters, and this is money taken out of the local economy. What if you could open up your own diner, right? Spend the money, build the building, stock it, and the local owners would get the benefit of all those profits. So it stays local. You got local jobs, local owners. It seems to work. Take it the next level. What if that store also bought their ingredients locally? Local green peppers, they can be grown locally. Local, let's see, olives, that one might be hard. Okay. Local bacon, possible, but a lot of attempts to keep prices down. So you go with the big commercial producers. But there's a lot of stuff that could be done to relocalize the money that's already being spent. And it's been there for years, and they keep sending that money back to headquarters. That's the problem I see with what we're heading into. We've got this pandemic that has taken, 30 million jobs out of the system, because these companies like Denny's or Hungry's or Papa's or Little's, they operate on cash flow. They operate on getting the cash in, paying the bills, sending the money back to corporate. And if a location isn't producing, you shut it down. Well, right now, if nobody can leave the house, good Lord, they got no need for keeping these places open. Why are you spending money for leasehold expenses when you're not going to see so much as a first dollar in sales for several months? It may make more sense to lay off everybody, take all the equipment, put it in storage, and when the time comes, bring it back up and start over. And a lot of companies are doing that. You got 30 million people unemployed all of a sudden the past month. That's what's happening with the economy. Now, this lockdown, because of this virus, is going to be in place for a while. We've got a lot of activity. People are saying, open it back up. And I did a video recently saying we need to open it back up wisely, because if you just open the floodgates and let them all loose, what's going to happen is the disease is going to start spreading again, and they're just going to have to shut it down. Some companies offer a good or a service that can be offered and sold and marketed without a lot of contamination, without a lot of cross-infection. Let's get those open first, at the very least. 25 Silver Topaz says 25,000 divided by 200 is $125. No, let me see. 20. Oh, okay. That's 120. Yeah, that's probably closer to right. I got to pull a calculator up. You're probably right. It was cheap as dirt, man. Let's see, 25,000 divided by 200. That's 120. Look at this. Here's the screen. Look at this. It's $125, not 500. What the hell was I thinking? What's 200 people times 500? Jesus, that's $100,000. Okay, let's get back to here. Yeah, $500. That'd be 100,000 raised. This amount, 25,000 divided by 200, that's actually equal to $125. I know people that spend that much taking their family out to Pizza Hut, and they do it every single week. This is money we're already spending on pizza, and we're sending it out of town. We're sending it to corporate headquarters. I propose we redirect the money we're already spending onto our own companies. But the trick is to organize a couple of hundred people to get it going with. Newspapers, local radio, the internet works great. Local Facebook type stuff. You can reach these people. The Better Business Bureau in your town would be more than happy to host a meeting and let you speak at that. There are groups, commercial groups in your town already in place whose job, whose purpose it is to talk up new opportunities. And this would be such an opportunity. Okay, well, if I were to do this, I'd go further. I'd take it to the next level. Okay, let's see. Let's get my notes over here. All right. The whole idea is no matter what you do, you're going to need cash. All right. And it's probably not going to be a small amount. And there's some people that have a big, deep pocketbook. But it's not, here's the trick, it's not about how much money you have, right? There's little money, there's big money. It's not about how much money you put up. It's about how many people are involved. Let me see if I can draw a whole lot of people real quick. This is tricky. Okay, just imagine this going all the way down, a few lines. Okay, we can reduce the investment by getting more people involved. And if you can reduce it enough, what do we have there? $125 is what we're talking about over here? Yeah, that's probably affordable to a lot of people. 500 is a little bit tougher, but half the people in the world don't have $500. No, half the people in the U.S. don't have $500. But $1.25, you can probably come up with that. Sell that car that's been in the driveway for 6 years, has 4 flat tires and a tree growing through it. Just for scrap metal, you get $1.25 for it. Okay, but there are some folks who will say, boy, this sounds like a great idea. I want to get in for the whole darn schmeal. Okay, let's look at that. Will ya? Here's the scope. This is one of the few images I have at the ready. Okay, so we're going to pull up. There's the pizza. No, there it is. Okay. Okay, this is your standard business model right now. You have a single owner, okay, and the owner hires a staff. He pays for the equipment. He buys the product. He designs the product. Maybe if it's food, he's deciding what the recipe is for the product. He's taking care of the financing. What's the IC? I forget what IC was, but he takes the bulk of the risk. And because he's taking the risk, he's going to make all the money. And he's relying on minimizing the staff and minimizing the pay for the staff. I find it a whole lot better to give them the incentive. And if you can find a reason to pay somebody what they're worth, by all means jump on it, because then you have somebody who's going to try even harder, and it's only going to benefit you and the company. But this is your standard model where it's an owner that gets all the reward. They take all the risk, they got all the reward, and they rely on lots and lots and lots of customers. Okay, what I'm saying is change it just a little bit. Now the owner, currently, it's shareholders, investors, especially with the bigger companies. There are pension funds, shell corporations, speculators, there's trusts, stock portfolios, money management. They buy shares. Anybody who buys shares is effectively an owner of that company. So the employees and the customers, they just serve the job of doing the work and buying the product. They take very little gain from all this. And I've got another one here. Now this is the cooperative business model that I'm talking about. Okay, where the owner, that's going to be you and me. The owner is made up of investors who are comprised of customers and workers. So we make this all one big team, right? We use the lawnmowers, we own the lawnmowers, we push the lawnmowers. If we have a lawn mowing company, we operate the lawn mowing company, we do the lawn mowing. If we need our lawns mowed, we come to our own company. So we're looking for people who are interested in being customers as well as workers as well as investors. And if you have enough of them, that dollar amount, where it is, here it is. If you have enough people, that dollar amount for the investment gets down real small real fast, right? If you have enough of them, that number of customers climbs. If each of these people who invest in the company is a customer, that's going to start cutting your risk down real quick. Let's say you have a pizza shop. This guy spends currently $25 to $50 a month on pizza. This guy spends $1.25 per week, right? This guy spends he spends $25 every month. This guy doesn't eat pizza. This guy might not want to get involved. Let's cross him out and go find somebody else, because really it's about participation. And these people are already spending money on pizza. This guy spends $100 a month. They go out once a month. They call it good. This guy spends, him and his girl, or her and her guy, whatever, or him and his guy. I don't care. Whatever. They spend $50 a week or some darn thing. And together, if you have enough of them, that's going to pay at least the minimum amount to keep that pizza shop open. Remember, you still have all the bills associated with it. You're going to have, that's not it, you're going to have taxes, light bill, water bill, gas bill, sewer bill, telephone bill, payroll tax, workers' compensation, liability insurance, ingredients, all that stuff. So the more people involved, that's the key, is right there. The easier it's going to be to reach that threshold of breaking even. And then, well, you rely on the general public after that. But you got everybody involved here is going to talk to their mother, their brother, their cousin, their neighbor, the guy at church, the guys they bowl with, the Cub Scouts. Geez, your Cub Scout, Dan, is having a pizza party. You need to get down here to local town pizza and get your pizzas from us. Really, don't go to Domino's. That's salty cardboard. Get your pizzas locally, where the profits pay the local people to do the work, and the profits from the company go back to the local investors, who happen to be customers and consumers and workers. You need some help down at your pizza shop? That's no problem. You got all the investors involved. You call them up, say, hey man, we need we need some help down here sweeping the parking lot. And so everybody puts in 4 hours a week just tidying up the place. They go in and wash the windows and sweep the parking lot and trim the shrubbery and pick up cigarette butts and stuff. And then you give them a pizza party when you're done, or some damn thing. Food works well because it can be produced locally, it can be processed locally. That's two fingers. There you go. And it's consumed locally. Right now, it's what, 1,500 miles is the average amount of shipping involved in putting together a Caesar salad. Lettuce comes from over here, right? California, drives to Ohio. The dressing, it comes from someplace in Jersey, where they just pump jugs full. What else is in there? You got the bread. The wheat comes from Iowa, turned into croutons. You got an anchovy coming from where's the anchovies come from? Peru. But they're just little things, so we adjust the mileage on that. But it's like 1,500 miles to put together a Caesar salad. Well, I think except for the anchovies, you could probably grow everything right local. So to make this work, it doesn't have to be pizza. It could be anything. If it's food related, it works out best. You could do this with a lawn service, right? You could do it with tools, tool rental. As long as you have enough people who are using the product already or the service already. Now it's just the difference. The only difference is coming up with the investment capital to start the company. And as soon as you do, you get all that business brought over to you right now. That's the plan. All right, now we'll take a step up to the next level, but I want to get back to chat. Let's see, there's okay, my screen is so screwed up here. I can't find the chat. There it is. So let me read the chat for just a bit. You'll need 100K to get your pizza equipment. In some places, it's going to be more. In some places, it's going to be less. If you're going to do this in your location, you'll need to do the homework particular to your location, right? Uh, there are lots of variables in there. I'm just throwing out some numbers based on what I can do in this town with what I know. You amazing people have a great day. You too, Majestic. You're off to work. Man, you stay safe out there. Hector, you can always watch the replay. The restaurant industry, says Majestic, and the grocery store industry has divided our country on how we process food. That's one big eye-opener to me on this epidemic. We have a lot of centralization. There is an efficiency of scale that is gained. Really, you could grow 1,000 eggs locally, or you could grow 1,000,000 eggs in a central plant in Wisconsin, right? And then your problem is distribution and how efficiently you can ship volume. Okay. We've gravitated towards efficiency of scale, but this brings problems such as, what if there's a pandemic and one person at a meatpacking plant gets the disease? You shut down the meatpacking plant because they move 300 tons of pork through there every single day. You just took 300 tons a day off the market if that place is closed. We've seen it before with we had chicken feed was contaminated a few years back, and they had to take like a third of U.S. egg production off market and keep it off for a while until the chickens were feeling better and thought they'd lay eggs again. And it sent the price of eggs to what, $2.50, $3 a dozen. Went through the roof, like triple. They still haven't come back to what it was. What is that? It's a piece of lint. There it is. This centralized production leaves a lot to be desired because we have too few eggs in too many baskets. And if you take out one of those baskets, it can be a pretty substantial volume that's taken offline. It can cause spikes. If you take off more nodes, it can cause product unavailability. They're saying we're going to run out of pork. Christ, we tried running out of toilet paper, but we didn't take the production offline. There's so much toilet paper out there right now. Dude, you can wipe your ass for years with that toilet paper out there. But if people get the idea that, hey, they're going to stop making pork, they're going to run out, even the people who don't eat pork, they're going to load up their freezer and say, good, I got bacon till the next millennium. Well, I can't blame them for that, but if they don't eat the darn stuff, what's the point? You don't need 2 years worth of toilet paper when they're still making it. Okay, but food works well. We need to relocalize jobs, right? A lot of people are out of work, so we need to find a way to relocalize jobs. The big companies are looking out for themselves. Matter of fact, there was big industry that reached into the small business fund and just cleaned that out in no time. And the small business owners from the stimulus package passed a couple of weeks ago, they got next to nothing, $13,000 average. Whereas big business, more than 100 employees, reached in there and just they helped themselves. We're not going to compete with big business as far as government funding, so we're going to have to do it ourselves. The government ain't looking out for us if they put up to a quarter of $1 trillion and earmark it for small business and can't keep big business out of that. So we're going to have to look out for ourselves and create jobs ourselves. And this can do it. Okay. Let's get back over here to home. This can do it. We're talking a small investment, perhaps $500, perhaps $1,000 for each individual involved or each family involved. Right? Maybe somebody wants to put in more money. If that be the case, then they don't understand it's not the money you put in, it's how many people get involved. This is the key thing. If some guy says, I'm going to do that and just hire people, that's the same damn thing we got going on right now. We want to create the opportunity for all these people to have a piece of the company, We want to create opportunity for all these families to pick up some extra income working. Okay, we want to use the money these people are already spending, be it on pizza or rent or maybe electricity. That's going to be hard. Okay, watch this. According to the USDA, this is USDA figures. The average American, they got 3 different thresholds. The average American spending per week for food is $50. That's per week per person. That's per week per capita. Okay, do we do this? That's dollars per week per person. A lower end is closer to 38 to 40. Okay, and then you have the high end people that, they're gonna have bacon wrapped around their filet mignon at every meal, and that can be typically $60 and up because well, there's a lot of dining out when you get up into this range. But you can figure $50 a week per person is about right. So if you got 200 families, okay, you got let's say 3 people per family, right? Mom, dad, a kid, dad and 2 kids, whatever the hell you got. Maybe just 3 kids. I don't care what it is. It's going to be 600 people, right? And if each one of them is spending $50 per week per person, that's going to be $30,000 a week. Now we're already spending this money. We're already spending it. If we don't do this with the company, we're going to spend the money anyway. Can we get these 200 families to pick up an extra $200? 200 times 200 is $40,000. Okay, maybe $250, $50,000 to work with. Whatever. Yeah, I wrote through on 2 different pieces of paper. Here, we'll do a K. Let me adjust my paper. Okay, times 52. What do you got there? $1.5 million a year. That's a lot of money leaving town, because most of our groceries right now, just as with the pizza, right? Pizza Hut, Domino's, Little Caesar, Papa John, Hungry Howie's. Most of the groceries right now are going to the top few chains. Walmart. Name them. What are your top 5 grocery stores in this country? Can you name what's a supermarket where you are? And they're more regional. You have some that are more national, but you've heard the names: Walmart, Winn-Dixie, Publix. Right? You have some volume stores that you've probably heard of. Aldi, Save-A-Lot. There's my pen. Save-A-Lot. You may have, let's say, a Hannaford near you, or a Price Chopper, or a Grand Union, or Kroger. There you go. But most of your food bill that you're spending for your groceries at home are going to a few select companies and leaving town. Winco. I'm not familiar with Winco. GFC or QFC? That looks like a QFC. Fred Meyer. Yep, heard of Myers. Never been to Myers. I think that's Midwest. Costco. Sam's. Walmart, Sam's. BJ's. They still got BJ's? Dollar Tree. They're kind of small, but they're in a lot of small towns, and they move a lot of product. You got your Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Dollar Smiths, Dollar McDollar, Dollar Stores. We'll just call them that. There you go. There's most of the groceries, and we're already spending that. If we could just come up with the money to start an enterprise, a food-based enterprise, then it's all about how much of that money we're already spending are we redirecting to our business, to keep it open, keep it paying the bills, to pay the staff. Even if we don't make a profit, we're paying the staff. And we're the staff. Albertsons, good one. Safeway. Somebody's over there Googling it. There we go. There's my handwriting. This is just awful handwriting. I told my mother I was a doctor. She believed me. I like food. I eat it all the time. I keep some in the fridge. I keep some on top of the fridge, right beside a jar of mayonnaise that I keep my money in. But, well, I'm out of both money and mayonnaise, so I need to work on that. There you go. And out of all these companies, there's again a spattering of companies that do all the production and processing of all the uh, base items: wheat, bran, grain, rice, right, meats, tomatoes, vegetables. There's only a handful of companies that process all the raw ingredients into all those products that you buy in a few stores. We need to redirect this to ourselves. What can we do with $1.5 million a year when half of that is going to be labor for us, for ourselves? Good Lord. If you're spending $50 a week per person, here's what your home bill looks like. You got $3 in the family. You got $50 a week. That's $150 a week. Is that about what you're spending now? All right, maybe at the 40 mark, you're spending $120 a week for your family groceries. Maybe you're doing a little bit better. You're spending 180. But anywhere from $100 to $200 a week for a family of three is probably what you're spending on groceries. Somewhere in there is the range. I betcha. So you just look at your own figures and say, yeah, that's about right. I can get by pretty damn good on $40 a week because I can cook. I don't buy it in a can. I don't buy it frozen, ready to go, microwave. They got baked potatoes already washed, right? Wrapped in plastic. All you got to do is take the potato, stick it in the microwave, press the start button, and go beep, and you got a fresh baked potato. They have washed it, prepared it. What? That's a little too excessive. But the potato costs you $2.50. I can get a 50-pound sack of potatoes for like $18.99. Do all kinds of things with potatoes. Good Lord. But someone here's what you're already spending. What if you could get part of that back in the form of wages? Okay, so we got this plan. And follow me here. Remember the $25,000 to start up a pizza shop? Okay, we give up the pizza idea because that pizza oven is going to be $3,000 to $5,000, and the cold table is going to be another $2,000 to $4,000, depending on what you're expecting. But if you had a kitchen, a commercial kitchen, and it all revolves around one key thing, and that is the food service license, okay, and that's going to cost you $200 a year. You know, for Judy, we got this one chick in town named Judy. And she was an inspector for the county years ago when I lived in town. When I got the diner, it's in the next county over, but it's a bigger county, more people, better pay. And who's my inspector for the diner so I can get my food service license? Judy. I said, Judy, moving up in the world, ain't you? Look, I don't have any paper towels here. You better write that down. And she did. The rest of the place was tight. But your food service license is the first thing. Getting that license is not as easy as just, talking nice to Judy, who I'm sure could really use a hug, but you have to have a clean, sanitary location that's easily maintainable. You have to have potable water of the right temperature. You need to have washing facilities. At the very least, a 3-bay sink where you can wash, rinse, and sanitize. You have to have the right equipment set up to dry your dishes. You need refrigeration that is spaced correctly so that you don't have dairy on a shelf over meat where you have high hazard foods one on top of another. Dairy on the bottom. Cheese can be above meat because it doesn't drip, right? Yogurt, you can't have meat below there. You got chicken and beef, neither can be above the other because if they drip, they're going to contaminate the other. Okay, so you need refrigeration that's appropriate. You'll need equipment that is appropriate. Stainless steel, it's not particularly cheap, but it's not particularly expensive either. The best part is, with so many darn restaurants shutting down from this lockdown, the equipment can be had for a song. It's not a problem. So there you go. You need light covers on all your light bulbs. In case one blows, it doesn't drop into the food. And after that, you're down to the equipment. and the sorts of equipment you need to process foods can be pretty darn fundamental. Cutting boards, stainless steel workstations. A 4-foot table will cost you $75, stainless steel, 30 inches by 4 foot. Probably got a shelf underneath there so you can store some equipment or something. And if all you had was cold storage, you can't cook yet, you can still do a whole lot of things. You can order meat in bulk sizes and cut steaks out of them. You don't know how. Okay, some training will be needed. Chances are, if you have 200 families, you have somebody who knows how to cut a steak. If not, you can send somebody to learn how to cut a steak. Call me, I'll teach you how to cut a steak. It really isn't that hard. Uh, the butchers in the supermarkets probably make $12 to $15 an hour. It's a better skill. The real skill comes in getting the most out of that cut. So nothing goes to waste, or very little. And usually it's the fat cap, and even those have a use if you know what to do. So you have equipment. Okay, you have small wares. All your knives, spoons, measuring cups, portioning devices. You're going to have containers. You're going to have packaging. You're going to have cleaning supplies. Let me tell you, if you work in a restaurant, there is always something to do. No matter what, if you got nothing to do, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean, believe me. It looks clean, we'll wipe it again anyway. Okay, equipment. You're going to have hot and cold storage. You're going to have a means of heating and cooking food. So we have cooking equipment. What are you talking there? Oven, stovetop. You can do a huge amount of stuff with a simple 6-burner stove and a commercial size oven going with it. A huge amount. Hot food, holding it, steam tables. $100 will get you a steam table. Probably a whole lot cheaper right now with everything shut down. The inserts that go into them are stainless steel. They can be a little pricey. Number 6 pan would cost you probably $20 right now. Stainless steel is not cheap, but it's incredibly durable. That's the thing. So you have hot, cold storage and holding. Store, edge, and hold. So you want to hold your stuff hot. You want to hold your stuff cold. Okay, you have your primary big cooler. You have cooking equipment, and you're going to have ventilation and fire protection. Okay, then you're going to have, let's see, small wares. Your knives, cutting boards, forks, portion scales. What else you got? Little things that you're going to use to core out a tomato. They're not expensive, but they do save a lot of labor time in the hands of somebody who knows how to use them. But cooking and food, it's a basic skill. A lot of people already possess the skills they need to chop an onion, to dice up peppers, to brown off meat sauce, for example. Containers, Lexan containers or stainless steel containers, stuff to put the food into that is going to be cut, has been cut, is in the process of being cut or prepared, or maybe you make a salad dressing, 5-gallon bucket of blue cheese or something. Okay, packaging. Once you have cooked it and stored it and have it ready for sale, packaging becomes an issue. You can get sugar in 50-pound sacks, and it will probably save you 10% over buying it in the 5-pound sack. It would actually pay you to send one person to Sam's Club and pick up 10 50-pound bags of sugar, bring it back and portion it out, and that difference you make, that little 10%, that's going to pay your staff. Now the company doesn't make any money, but your staff is paid. And that's a key thing all by itself. If you have enough of those things going on, effectively you have a free staff. But you need bags to put the food in. They have to be food safe. They have to be appropriate for the temperature being used, the proper sealing method, and then probably a label that would go on there as well. Now we have the advantage of that all the people involved work there and own the company. There are ways to get around the labeling requirements. All right, we're not too worried about that. It's kind of a small issue anyway, but we can We can buy the sugar ourselves or sell it to the public, even if it's the same price. And they don't save, the general public doesn't save money. They can save just on being convenient to them, local to the place. But also, you're going to have 200 people talking to their mother, their brother, their cousin, the neighbor, the people at church, the people they're bowling with, the guys on the football league, right? Say, hey man, you need to come down to our little store, right? Because we got a little store here and we sell all that good stuff you like to eat. And the price is the same there, but we keep the jobs local. And there will be people that flock to your store just because it's local jobs and you're keeping the jobs local. They love to spend their money on local employment things. Cleaning items, mop, bucket. Maybe you'll have some floor mats to prevent slippage. You'll need to be hosed off. These are usually pretty durable mop heads, little scrubbies, maybe some towels that can be replaced, pretty regularly. But the license is the big thing. And if you have the license, you can do a vast number of things in a food service setting, even if it's just purchasing in bulk, repackaging it. Rather than getting the 50-pound sacks, you can get a 2,000-pound pallet of sugar dropped off, right? You might need a loading dock would be an appropriate thing. If not that, a hand truck to wheel a 2,000-pound pallet of sugar to wheel that around. Well, okay, they're not inexpensive. $300-400 will get you a pallet jack that would do the job. But now you can get a ton of sugar or a ton of flour all at once. And if you've got a couple of hundred families, you can go through a ton of sugar at a time, real easy. Add the 200 families, add to them their brothers and mothers and cousins and sisters and neighbors and people at church, and a ton of sugar, you start to think, maybe we should get 2 this week. Well, we got the internet, we've got computers and software, and all kinds of inventory control items at our disposal. It would not be unheard of to get orders in advance and have them paid for in advance. What would you like to order this week? And they go through the list and they check off 5 pounds of sugar, 5 pounds of beans, 5 pounds of milk, 5 pounds of butter, 5 pounds of sardines. Get the bill right here, click. Come on by Friday, we'll have it ready for you at 7 o'clock. So now, remember that risk we talked about? Because you've got the people in place, right? Lots of them who are workers and customers and owners, and we're able to process information at a fingertip. We know what they're going to use. We know what they're going to purchase. We know when, how much. We can have this stuff lined up in the pipeline ready. So we're not sitting on product for 6 weeks until it goes bad, right? Those steaks come in, they're cut and they're sold that day. So we don't need as much storage space. We don't need to sit on 200 pounds of beef until it starts turning blue and getting that smell, you know what I mean? Because we're able to move the product. This reduces the risk. And because there's less risk, we don't need major investors with big cash who are going to keep half the money for themselves. No, all the money we make, most of it would go towards the workers. That's the idea. Okay, I need to take a moment to blow my nose. One moment, please. Whoa, that's not the right button. There it is. There, I embellished the nose blowing just a little bit. Okay, what else can we do? Let's take it to the next level. We've got a kitchen, okay? Because we want to take product, we want to have a kitchen. We want to buy product in bulk and repackage it into smaller amounts so we can flip that product over rapidly and pick up that margin. And the more volume we can move, the more we can make because we gain efficiency of scale. So volume has a lot to do with it. We also want to have a store, right, where we're able to sell. You pick up a ton of sugar, or a ton of flour, or a ton of sardines, and we sell 750 pounds immediately. We'll have a little bit more. We can stock up that store and offer this stuff as surplus to the general public. We don't have to go cheaper than Walmart. Would be hard pressed to go cheaper. We don't have to be more expensive. Well, it'll be hard to beat Walmart's prices. Uh, but a lot of folks are going to be a lot of folks are going to be local anyway. So knowing that their money is going to stay local, I bet you they'd be willing to spend the same amount or even a nickel more. You know, if you had 200 families, right, and everybody bought 2 gallons of milk, 2 gallons of milk per week. Okay, I don't know how much that is. I do about a gallon a week. I put it mostly in my coffee, sometimes on my oatmeal, right? That's going to be 400 gallons of milk per week. Now, you only make about a quarter. Your markup on a gallon of milk at the retail level is only about 25 cents. So in a week, you earn $100. All you got to do is have the uh, space in coolers to hold all that milk. The people come in, they get their milk either for the week or 1 gallon at a time, and you get $100 a week or $5,000 a year, probably a little more, 5K plus. Uh, that's going to go, just the milk alone would go a long way towards covering the electric bill for that cooler. May not pay for the cooler, could be 10 or 15,000 for a good size reach-in cooler. But if you want to keep it running, well, that would go a long way on that light bill. Pretty darn handy. And then you have other things. You got the milk, you got the butter, you got cheese, American cheese, Swiss cheese, cottage cheese, toe cheese, Fermented cheese, all the good stuff. And if you have the kitchen, you can get a slicer, and you may need to be 18 years old to operate the slicer, and slice up the cheese yourself. You have sliced Swiss, sliced cheddar, sliced mozzarella. What's that other one? Provolone. Everything the deli does, we can do in our kitchen and market it in the store. What if we have an oven and we can make our own bread, our own biscuits, right? Our own, pumpernickel stuff. Pretty much everything on the outside of the supermarket we could do here, right? You have fresh produce, we can get that in by the case, right? Some of it doesn't need to be refrigerated. Tomatoes, you don't have to refrigerate those. You can just set them out in the store. We know how many tomatoes we're going to need. If there's 60 tomatoes in a case and everybody all together says they need 240 tomatoes, you've got to have 4 cases of tomatoes and get an extra one just in case. Maybe 2 extra ones. The surplus you put in the store. The storage you store it in the store. We don't have a warehouse out back. The store is our warehouse. So kitchen and store is the core of this operation. Whatever you need, we can get it in volume, probably. There are vendors out there who will take care of specific setups just like this. They're called delis, and these suppliers are called purveyors. There's Cisco, SS Pierce, Kraft, Florida Foods, that beach company. I don't know what the hell, we didn't use them anyway. But there are probably a dozen different companies just in this part of this state that are made to service small restaurants, delis, diners, food service operations of a small scale. And they can get whatever you need in any volume you need. And the more volume you get, typically the better the price. Blue vein horse cheese, you name it, we can slice it, we can shred it, we can cut it into blocks, right? There's one piece of equipment, it's called a Hobart. Big thing, got a big head on there, right? Got a big shaft, got some arms, right? It'll hold buckets, got feet, big feet. That's what it looks like. Okay, got buttons on here. On the front, it's got a little thing. It looks like a stand mixer. You ever seen one of your grandmother's stand mixer where she makes her bread? Same idea, except 4 foot tall, made on an industrial scale. These will cost $1,500 to $3,000 typically. And there are attachments you can get. One of them is a cheese shredder. You put the cheese in, right? Fits in a little slot right here. This is a spinning wheel, goes round and round. It shreds the cheese and spits it out all over the floor. Piles it up. Okay, well, get something to hold it up so you can put a bin under there to catch your shredded cheese. And now you have shredded cheese that costs you $1.19 a pound, that this regular supermarket price is $2.49 a pound. And this guy can push out 50 pounds per hour and make $10 an hour doing it, and you still got plenty left over. The numbers work when you start getting some volume behind you. But you need a couple of hundred customers regularly. You need a couple of hundred customers. They're all going to buy a pound of cheese per month. Or maybe their cousins and brothers and mothers and neighbors want to come by and pick up a pound of that good shredded cheese. It's the same price as Walmart, except it's local. All right. Cheeses, meats, dairy, baked goods. We can make all this stuff right here. You get the meat in bulk, you slice it up, you shred it, you put it through the grinder, you make meat sauce, you make lasagna, you make meatloaf, you put out packages of ground beef. Yes, we can do this. People do it all the time. There are delis all across this nation that do this. And I'm saying we do this and use that money we're already spending to put into our own company. All right. But it would have to be local. So you folks, you wouldn't be any use to me over here in Lake City, Florida. Right. Now you could take it one step further. Instead of going to the store and picking up a case of tomatoes right up at the produce store, what if we had some land, we could grow our own tomatoes? Okay, again, instead of getting tomatoes shipped in from California, right, we grow the damn tomatoes right here, right out back here. Geez, you know how many tomatoes you can grow on 5,000 square feet? It's a lot of tomatoes, really. What can you do with a tomato? You can make tomato juice, tomato sauce, tomato paste, tomato puree, dried tomatoes. You can take the darn things and chop them up, use them on salad, throw them in soups, sauces, add them to lasagna, put them with noodles. There's 15,000 different uses for tomatoes, and I don't know them all. Zucchinis. You know, I was at an auction one time back in New York. There was an Amish auction, and of course, they all get together and cooperate to put the auction house together. And the guys grow vegetables. Well, mostly their kids grow the vegetables. And they harvest them, put them in boxes. It's professionally shipped and packed. They take it to the auction, and the larger chains would come in and pick up that produce, and they would auction it, buy it at auction. And I would see 150 cases of zucchini go each day. I'd see 150 cases of zucchini go for $7 a case. You got 20 pounds of zucchini in there going for $7. These farmers are getting 7 cents for a zucchini, for a good sized zucchini. The stores are paying 7 cents for a zucchini that they're going to charge you $1.50 a pound for. And it's at least a half a pound zucchini. That's the sort of markup we see with produce. The guy who grows the food doesn't make so much. It's the middleman who marks it up. It's the final store that gets the biggest lion's share of the value of that. Now, they do take the risk. Zucchini goes bad, they end up with zero. But here, we can grow that zucchini, and we're going to get $1.50 a pound for that thing instead of 7 pounds, because we're going to send it to the kitchen and to the store, right? We pick the zucchini, we pick the tomato, we store it in the store because you don't need refrigeration to store those. If we have a need for an ingredient, we bring it to the kitchen, turn it into something else. You know, I've done a lot of canning in my time. I've done a lot of growing of vegetables, and this is the way it works. You ready? You take your best looking tomato, beautiful, it's a perfect beefsteak tomato, and you put that in the store, and you're going to get $1.19 a pound. Right? No fooling. Beautiful tomato. They got to be damn near perfect. Meanwhile, you got these other tomatoes that are number twos. They got a spot or a blemish. Okay. Your top tomatoes you put in the store, you get $1.19 a pound. Your second-rate tomatoes, you take them from the farm, you put them into the kitchen, you turn them into tomato sauce, and you get $3.50 for a pint. You get twice as much for the second-rate tomatoes as you do for the top ones. This is not bullshit. This is how it works. They can't sell the imperfect tomato. But by God, they can use that in a gourmet product and get $2.50 for a pint of sauce. No bullshit. Okay, how many tomatoes would 200 families use? It's a lot. Okay, mostly we need land. Depending on the area you live, what sort of water irrigation do you have? Are you inner city? Because if you're deep inside a metropolitan area, this one's going to be very difficult. There are ways to do it, but that part will be very difficult. Land is expensive, especially in those metropolitan areas. Around here, a 5-acre plot could be had for probably 20,000 bucks, 3,000 more. You got a well, another 1,000 bucks in solar power equipment, and the well is pumping water 24/7. Real easy in this area, but we grow it. Our people, our 200 families, those kids gain a skill. Remember 8 years ago when all those kids, I mean, you had an unemployment rate among the people under 18 of over 40%. They couldn't get a job at McDonald's because nobody's working, and you got guys with a master's degree needing work, and they're up there saying, would you like fries with that? So the kids, we got an entire generation that missed several years of a head start getting skills, getting job skills, knowing what to wear, when to show up on time, how to be nice and greet people, and start developing any type of leadership skills. You know, those entry-level jobs were held by people with master's degrees. Here, we give the opportunity to our kids, to our families. We'll go through the 200 families first. If we still need some help, and we could hire outside help, maybe your cousin, maybe your brother, maybe the guy you went to church with. But these would be local jobs. Instead of buying tomatoes from Bakersfield, California, although this plan would still work in Bakersfield, now you're growing the tomatoes that are grown right here, right behind the shop, right behind the kitchen. We take the tomato, we process it into sauce, we sell the sauce in the store. Or better, we can even use that sauce to make another product. So the store gains a deli, right? It's going to be a bakery, a deli. A deli? Who talks like that? A bakery, a deli, a meat shop, a cheese shop, dairy, right? You're going to have fresh bread, fresh milk. Do you get cows? Maybe. Really, there are places where cows make sense. You've got really, really cheap land, an abundant supply of hay, grass. Cows, you need like 5 acres for a cow. That one you might just contract with a grower or a cow guy and say, hey man, we need 50 gallons of milk a day. Can you help us? Because they will be all over that. That works still. They hit 16 to 17. We got a lot of people out of work right now. Okay. And we're going to find it again where when McDonald's opens up and they need help, you're going to see people with college degrees going in saying, I would like a job, please. But here we have the opportunity to direct those jobs to our group, to the people that are involved. Because we own the company. We're going to hire our people, us, our kids. And if we still need help, then we can go outside the group. But we're not going to open it up and hire those kids from, across the border. That'd be foolish. Keep the jobs local. Keep the cash local. Take the money you're already spending and put it into your own company. Goats, if goats are your thing, you could do goats. When you get into this level, you have to get into a discussion between all the people that are involved. All right, what is it you want to do? Do you want to just make a deli and do steaks and shredded cheese and sliced tomatoes and salad? Do you want to get into doing a pizza? What if on Friday night you want to get some tables and chairs in there, empty out the store, and have a freaking spaghetti and meatball feast? Yes, you could probably do that. All right. Now you got some servers and you rotate through. Whose turn is it this week to wait on tables and do the cooking and wash the dishes? And geez, you could do it for 10 bucks a head. No problem at all. Leave a tip and everybody involved makes good money. Everybody who's doing the work makes good money. The company makes like $1.50 per head. It would be a great way to pick up, say, enough money for a mixer. Or have a spaghetti feed a couple of times until you raise the money for a new steam table or a proofer for bread so you can start putting out bread. Did we talk about the bread? Because we looked at the milk We got 200 families, 2 gallons of milk per week, 400 gallons a week is 25, no, at 25 cents per gallon is $5,000 a year just for the milk concession. What's bread like? How many loaves of bread do you go through? Because you're talking ingredient cost on bread is 25 cents a pound. And you can get large volumes of flour dropped off. You can get it in 5-pound sacks, flour. You can get 10-pound sacks, 25-pound sacks, 50-pound sacks. You can get the 2,000-pound super sack that you need a pallet to operate it. If you really, and I mean really, use the flour, they got a truck that'll come by, right? It's a big rig. I mean, it's a 50-foot long truck, and they will hook up a hose and blow the flour. How many tons would you like? You want 30 tons at a time? Got you covered. They will plug it in and blow the contents of that truck into your storage vessel. And geez, if that works that way, you're at another tier of efficiency of scale. But that's a lot of flour, that's a lot of bread, but it can be done. I have one greenhouse with 30 chairs in it. Yep. Okay, watch this. What else can we do? Because it's not just limited to, start a farm, grow some tomatoes, right? Open up a kitchen so we can slice cold cuts, and open up a store and deli so we can sell, bread and tomatoes and ham, and of course ham sandwiches because we got all the ingredients. Let's say you're having a dinner at your house, a wedding. Your kids are getting married. Your daughter's marrying her best friend, and you're going to have a dinner at your house, and you need a big pot, a big, fat, giant pot to cook a spaghetti feast. Well, this is the sort of thing if you have a farm and kitchen and store. Remember that tool sharing project I talked about earlier, right? Where we can have a mower, an edger, a weed whacker, a bush trimmer. What was that one? Handrails, hand tools, right? A wheelbarrow, a shed. It wouldn't take but a $75 or $100 bill, and you have a giant pot. Well, if we're not using it, sure you could borrow it, but you got to have it back on Tuesday because that's the day we do our meatballs again. It would be entirely possible to have a tool library put together here. You need to borrow a mower, we got it. You need to borrow a truck and trailer, we got it. Now, if the company needs it first, the company takes priority. But if you have enough demand to borrow a truck, just get another goddamn truck, right? Geez, it's so darn handy having a truck. Really is. How do you get a couch or a mattress delivered or hauled away when you ain't got no damn truck? I borrowed a truck back in college because I had to, just move a mattress. I'm driving a Firebird, and there's no way you're going to put a mattress into a Firebird. So I borrowed a guy's truck, and he's got them roof racks on it. We just tied it to that, and it worked out great till I hit about 60 miles an hour and it ripped that thing right off the roof. Boom! There goes a mattress too. And it was beautiful watching it spin and spin, and then slide along the highway and just get run over by 17 other vehicles. It was a darn shame. Then I had to fix the holes in the roof because there was no getting them roof racks back in. Yeah, these things happen. Okay, well, we can be a little forgiving on some things, but with proper equipment, we wouldn't have to be worried about ripping the roof racks on. I've got a 5x8 or 5x10 trailer out there. It cost, I think, $500 or $600. Got regular size wheels. It'll hold. I've had 2 tons of material on there. You could do a lot with something like that. You need to move your grandmother across town, and you need a vehicle for, just to hold her fish tanks. Yeah, we got you covered. So there are other benefits besides, picking up some investment income, and besides making the money that we would on the bread and the milk and the tomatoes and the cheese and all this other stuff. We also have the advantage of being able to borrow tools and equipment. Putting together a full service tool library would be entirely possible. And it wouldn't just be hammers and sickles and mowers and ladders. It could be pretty much any type of tool you need. You need a sewing machine. We could probably put that together if there's enough interest in it, right? You need to borrow a spare refrigerator for a party. We could probably make that. How about tables and chairs and awnings and tents? That sort of thing would be possible. Big Show, moonshine and produce bushels. That's right. We got it all, baby. Right? We're going to grow the corn, right? We're going to process the corn. And then we have the black market side over here. There we go. We get the black market side where we sell the moonshine. Hey, you did okay. You might need to keep it above board when you're looking out for 200 people who are your neighbors and brethren and family. Okay, the moonshine. Well, you can. I tell you what. Buy the corn from us, and then go do your moonshine. Then when we have the spaghetti dinner feast to raise the money for a blender, mention it to a few people. Hell, just stand right up and say, I got moonshine in my truck. Who wants it? $30 a gallon. Come on. And they will trample you to get it. You need a Plymouth Roadrunner. I think everybody needs a. I had a Chevy Nova and a Pontiac Firebird. And a buddy of mine had a Dodge Duster. Another guy had a Mustang Fastback. One guy had a, what the hell was that? It was a 404. All we knew, it was mean, it was loud, it was fast, and you couldn't drive past a gas station with it. This is back when gas was 69 cents a gallon. Yeah, boy, that was a me. Bum, bum, bum. Sounded great. Okay, what else can you do? What if you put together more libraries? Back when, before I had the diner, I was working at another diner just for fun. Paid the bills. And I said, why don't we, I got a bunch of movies because they were having a sale across the street where the church was. And, it's a whole yard sale. And people got stuff for sale. And they're giving the money to the church. It's, nothing great. People just, okay, we can get rid of this out of the house. And this one table was nothing but movies. I got, what did I get? As Good as It Gets. And looks like Cocoon and Ghost. Paid like $1 for them. But I was so impressed with that these people put together this entire table full of movies. Well, I tried it just for fun, and we got a box. Wasn't much of a box. I think spaghetti came in it, probably 25 pounds of spaghetti. We put it out back on a shelf, and we just threw some movies in there. And the whole idea was you could take one out, you put one back in. And, we've all seen the movies 100 times, so if you keep the one you took and leave the one that's okay too. But you could do it different ways. Borrow a movie, bring it back. You could take a movie and put one in. That works too. But you're not going to take, Avatar and drop off, the 1980s active workout. No. That don't work. You're not going to take Bambi, the director's cut that the kids love, and drop off like what's the worst movie you ever saw? The worst movie you ever saw. Try to keep it decent. None of this weird stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on video, but that's an option to consider. What if the place, you got the store, you got the kitchen. I'm sure there's some office space. What if you set up a Wi-Fi or computer center? Could this be advantageous? It can be, but the extensions of this, extending it one idea after another, you got 200 people that pitch in ideas. That's when it turns from being a simple operation into something that gives you real value, right? Geez, I'm a member of this thing. I pitched in $1,500 at the start. We got this farm. People are working 20 hours a week. Everybody's got a part-time job. We take the money we're already spending, bring it back to our own store, right? So it's not only making a profit, but it's making money. We're all getting paid. Plus, we had a barbecue last week, and I needed a picnic table. I got 4 picnic tables, a fire pit, 18 chairs, an awning, and a buffet table. Plus all the equipment to cook up lobsters and shrimp and crabs. Yeah, you're not going to take Bambi and leave Debbie Does Dallas. No, you're not going to take Buckaroo Banzai and leave Ernest Goes to Camp. No. Oh, the stories I could tell you about Ernest Goes to Camp. Plant 9 from, yep, it came from outer space. But you can get a good movie in, a good movie out. And if they do stick it to you, well, let's face it, you get all the movies for nothing anyway. So I suppose you could. But the idea is not to hoard the movies. Just watch it and share it with everybody else. Because what? I got some of these movies have been up here for 5 years. What's up there? RoboCop. Great movie. Loved it. Saw it 5 years ago. Just don't have the pressing need to go get it. What's that next one? The Family Man. Taya Leone's in there, and I love her. I should probably watch that again. Prometheus. Seen it once. Ghost. You see that one every 7 years, and that's plenty. Oh, what's that one? The Battle of Britain. The Matrix Reloaded. And then you get the Matrix. And I need it. There's another one up there. I don't know what it is. Let's see. What's that one? Capricorn 1. There's a John Wayne. We get like 30 movies all in there. And it's his early stuff from like the 30s and 40s. Yeah. And I probably haven't watched one of those movies in 5 years. Be kind. Rewind. Well, you do it on CD, so you don't have to rewind. Yeah. Don't be an idiot. Eject it. Don't just return the CD case empty. Yeah. But if you're any good, you'll borrow the movie, rip it, put it onto DVD yourself, and then return it. That works. But what else can you do with it? You could probably put together an entire library of actual books, cookbooks, do it yourself. Those lusty romance novels my great grandmother loved. What you're reading? Oh, it's one of those smutty ones. She's 90 years old. She's getting into smut. What is going on in this world? Well, hey, it kept her blood pumping at least. That ain't so bad. Well, anyway, that's the overall plan. There are more aspects to it. The full plan, I've got the link down below, and there are some parts that need to be updated because it was attached to an old blog that I had, an old website, and parts of that had been removed. I took off the whole site, so we're missing a couple of essays that are important to that business plan. But it includes how to organize, how to come up with a cache. What happens when you're at a point where, you got one farm kitchen store over here in this town, right? So this is Lake City. This is my town. What if you get another one over here in Live Oak, the next town over, and you get another one down here in High Springs? What happens when you have cooperating cooperatives? What can you get into at that point? Do you chip in and get a backhoe? What can you do when they start to grow? These guys, maybe on their farm, they have a whole lot of blueberry bushes. And over here, we have a whole lot of raspberry bushes. And these guys, they get a whole lot of plums. Can we trade? Hey, man, I'll take some of them blueberries if you take some of my raspberries. And I'll take some of your plums if you take some. See the way that works? You have cooperating cooperatives. Maybe these guys have a fantastic hot sauce. They make it out of them crying peppers, the Carolina Reapers. Maybe these guys have a mild sauce, and it's pretty good too. But maybe some of these guys would like to have some mild sauce. Some of these mild lovers like to have some screaming heat. Why not do a little trade or work something out? This could be an entirely possible thing. Cooperative cooperatives. Why not? Good Lord, you got these guys are doing something that's working for them. Let's communicate between all these groups that are out there, all these little cooperatives that are springing up, because the plan is so simple. It's not communism. It's cooperative. This is every bit of free enterprise, right? Communism is different. Remember the bit where we all come up with the money? In communism, the government comes up with the money, and the workers do the work, and the government gets the money, and they'll pay the workers whatever meager amount, but I don't care if this guy's good and this guy's no good, they get paid the same. The government gets the money. There's no risk. There's no risk of failure. If you did nothing, you still get the money. Uh, what's the incentive to perform? Here, the way I've got it set up, if everybody does a fine job, if everybody contributes beautifully, if you work towards efficiency and more ideas and communication uh, and getting more people involved, that builds success. This is every bit of free enterprise. Let me get back over here. Let's see, there's the screen. Pull up these images. There we go. Your normal picture of a company that we see right now has a single owner, be it a person or a franchise or a corporation, right? And they come up with a product, a staff, equipment, financing. I see. And intellectual capital. Ideas, for example, recipes would be intellectual capital, capital and risk. And then you get a whole bunch of customers. Okay. Nope, that's not it. That tells me how big to make these things. There you go. And your normal owners right now are shareholders, investors, pension funds, shell corporations, speculators, trusts, stock portfolios, money management, brokerage houses, and anybody who buys shares. And the operation part in the center is still the same. You still have a product, a staff, equipment, financing, intellectual capital, and risk. And you still have a herd of customers on the bottom. What I'm saying is take the customers, right, who are buying the product, take the workers who are doing the work, and they make the investment to become the owners. So the owners are also customers, they're also workers, they're also investors. That's a whole darn plan. Now, with the government, socialism, for example, the government is effectively the owner. Dude, the only thing governments do right is frig shit up. I wouldn't trust them to pave a road. They hire that done, and that's working pretty well for them. If governments had to pave the road, it would be mud holes. And a lot of parts in the country, that's all they are. Here's a little pizza shop. Up at the top, you've got a ventilation hood. And if this is an electric oven, there may not be an Ansel foam system, a fire suppression system. If this is this looks like it's electric. If this were a gas, I should see a line somewhere on the floor. And this up at the top, instead of just being a ventilation, would need the fire suppression. And you got some tables over here, stainless steel, shelf on the bottom, easy to clean floor, everything stainless steel. Excuse me. Over here, these tops lift up, and you've got numerous compartments for all your toppings, cheese, perhaps some sauce over here in this hot section. Probably some dough somewhere here. Green peppers, olives, anchovies, pepperonis, meatballs, all the love you put on. Here's some portion scales. Here's a great outdoors over here. There you go. And it's spotless. That's the key to the whole operation, is make it spotless. There we go. And I got another shot. Here's another one. And this style of pizza, see, this one is conveyor belts. You can access the side if you need to, but that's a conveyor belt. You put the thing in one side, you take it out the other, it's cooked. On this one, you open the door, you stuff the pizza in, you shut the door, and it bakes. You got an upper and a lower. And again, you got the, this would be a bin for ice, for ingredients. Okay, this would be the sauce for the heat, for the tomato sauce. Coolers for backup materials. Again, clean. There's your hood. This little switch here suggests this is an Ansel, a fire suppressing hood. And a clock on the wall, so you know when it's time to get going. Okay, let me get back home here. There's home. Yep. And I found the chat. Life is good. I'm sorry, Wanda. I get excited real easy. Yep. This has an incentive built in for people to get involved, and once they are involved, to take it all the way. That's what the whole darn thing is meant for, is how can we maximize our advantage of working together. Kenny, you going to do this? I keep putting out the idea, but let's face it, all I would do is, teach in such an, I'm not going to cook pizza. I'm not going to stand there for 6 hours slicing meats. Uh, but I might go in and show somebody how to cut steaks. How handy would that be? Geez, I don't have to cut all the steaks. Or even, I just go from one shop to the next, to the next, to the next, teaching them how to cut their own steaks, teaching them how to take a Boston butt and turn it into Italian sausage, for example, or how to harvest those tomatoes and turn them into sauce. I'd be better on that level, or explaining the situation. I get it. We Fezred, wife, we Fezred, our best employees ownership. The employees. What if you had a company and all the employees in the company owned the company? It's employee owned. That's one form of cooperative. There are cooperatives out there where the customers own the company. They hire the staff. Maybe it's not even themselves. They hire the best staff they can find. That's a form of cooperative. There are some other business models where they only buy local items, local products. There's a store in town, and probably half of the stuff that they have in there is locally grown beef, locally sourced chicken, local pork. They've got, I think, lamb in there, sheep, or some darn thing. Local meats. Their produce is all locally grown. But they do have some other items that are from, France or wherever, some of the cheeses, for example. They got wine in there. What, Italian wines? This is Florida. We don't got a whole lot of good local Florida wines. It's the way, it's the temperature thing. I'm with you, baby. I just shut down a 28-year restaurant. Yep, and there's all that equipment just sitting there, and there are a huge number of food service establishments. I've been sitting on this idea for years, and I bring it up and I talk to somebody about it here and there. Back when I was working for the contractor, I did a lot of practice talking about the pizza shop with all these guys because we sit down for lunch, and they love a good story, and I get going on it and start talking and talking. And I had people, from 200 miles away saying, "When do you want my money? I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. Let me in. I want to. Come on." It doesn't do any good if he's 200 miles away. He's not going to be a customer. That's the whole idea. Is the customers are also the workers, are also the owners. See, we don't need as much investment capital because we're not taking on as much risk, right? We don't have to have this huge stock up front. If we can just talk to all the local people who are right here in town, we set up a couple of websites, maybe something with Facebook so we can talk back and forth and say, how many pounds of tomatoes do you want this week? Or how many pounds of flour do you want this week? Or what's your favorite kind of coffee? Because we got a whole lot of Folgers coming this week. Just how many do you want? And get answers, and the product comes in, it's paid for, and it's out the door in a short time. And then we can recycle it into the next product. It's going to be hard to find local people to do this with. Well, anything is going to be hard. Doesn't matter what. The ideas are sound. And what I keep doing is just putting out the ideas. You can always take an idea and grow it or alter it to suit what's local in your area. Does a farm make sense in New York City? Not really. Perhaps you could do something on a rooftop. There are plenty of rooftop gardens in New York City. But getting local produce is going to be hard. But, from across the state, 2 or 3 hours out of the city, yeah, farmland is cheap and abundant and rich, right? And what do you want to do with your kitchen? Let's say everybody is into kosher. Do you want to set up a kosher kitchen? That might make sense, right? What are you doing for your store? Maybe it's more appropriate just to get a bunch of people organized to open a cafeteria, because you all go downtown all day, every single day, and eat lunch, and it costs you $10 a head. Why not do what it takes to start your own darn cafeteria? So instead of giving it to, Cafeteria Services Incorporated, based out of Burbank, California, it's your own company doing it. You and 3 other people local Hmm. That's what I'm talking about. You're already spending the money on food. How much of it can you redirect back into your own spending? How much can you send back to yourself? Uh, you got 200 families. You're doing 2 loaves of bread, right, per family per week. Uh, you got 400 loaves of bread a week. What's your margin on a loaf of bread? It's probably closer to 50 cents. Uh, there's labor involved in there, and you can pay them what's it two? You're paying 250 for a loaf of bread, for Christ's sakes. We can put out a whole lot better bread than that mealy cracker junk they got up there at the Walmart, and it'd be good stuff. And you could probably pick up, a few thousand more for the company just on the bread. What about butter, right? Let's say 200 families. You got uh, how many pounds of butter you go through in a week? Probably 1 pound of butter, but maybe you make 50 cents on that pound of butter. So this will be the same number. It's another $5,000 a year. Huh. And then it's what can you bring in from the general community, from the general public, outside of the group of owners, outside of the group of workers, outside of the group of uh, entrepreneurs. Huh. Their brother, their cousin, their neighbor, the people that went to church. They're going to be calling people they haven't seen in 20 years and say, hey, man, we got a great thing going on down at this store. You want to be part of it. You want to get involved down here. This is a grassroots effort. It starts with an idea. And some people will take the ball and run with it. Some people will turn it into something realistic. Some people will give it the old college try and actually succeed in putting together. There are cooperative enterprises in the U.S. with tens of thousands of members. I'm in a cooperative. It's the my light company. Here it is, Swanee Valley Electrical Co-op. That's a cooperative, and by using my electricity, well, I really don't make any money off of that, but I got a say in how it works. Hmm. I can't believe it's not butter. Hey, if it makes sense to go out and buy 100 pounds of, I can't believe it's not butter, and mark it up so it's the same price as what you're paying at Walmart now, and you sell it to the people because the people are buying. I can't believe it's not butter. Instead of sending that money to Walmart, you're putting it into your own company. And just doing that makes everything else possible. If all you did with the food part was pay for the farm and the kitchen for the store, just break even, right? You still have everything else that you can do. You still have, hey man, I want to borrow the truck this week to drop off a couch. Hey man, I need to borrow the lawnmower, right, to mow my back field. Um, or I need to borrow a goat to mow my back. Even better. Right? You still have access to the video library. There's an idea I put out called the coins. No, excuse me, the cans for college. If you got 200 people and everybody brings in their aluminum cans, down here in Florida, there's no deposit on cans, so they just throw them away. And they're good for 2-3 cents a piece, right? And we would have a central location to store the things until there's enough of them to make a run to the recycle center. And instead of throwing away all those recyclable aluminum cans, the group gathers them up, runs them down, gets some cash for them, and puts it towards a scholarship program. That wouldn't be too bad. Of course, I can guarantee you the scholar is probably going to be someone in the group. But you could raise, hundreds or thousands of dollars a year just on the cans. Yeah, but it keeps on going. There's more ideas that come out of this. What if you want to do another thing? You want to open up a fast food? What if you want to open up a pizza joint? Do you do it with the existing kitchen, or do you take the existing people who all eat pizza, plus other people in the community who eat pizza, who would like to get involved? Because some of these people might not want to get into pizza. They like it just the way it is with a farm kitchen to store. You could duplicate that again, and what do you know? It's more local jobs. It's more profits that are staying local and not going back to Chicago or Atlantic City or Paducah, or what's this one, or Smallville, or Howietown. The more business you can create using the money people are already spending, using local investors, the more we relocalize our economies. And I think that's what we're going to need to do after this virus is over, because we have had so many companies just shut down or go belly up. Food is the easy one. We can start at local. There's local equipment. There are plenty of shops and sites to work with. Everybody needs food, and they will do whatever they have to come up with the cash to feed their family. But if we can grow it and process it and sell it, we're not going to have we'll have very little waste. And instead of sending it to Walmart so they can send it to corporate headquarters in Smallville, it stays local, and you benefit from that. The idea should work in most areas. Some places will be different. You're not going to have a farm in, downtown LA. But you can do a lot of different things in downtown LA, let me tell you. You might buy more volume. You can probably get several hundred or perhaps a few thousand people. Yeah, you can set up red wigglers at that farm. And then all those people that have coffee grounds and leaves and scrappy bread or food scraps, they can bring their compostable materials to the farm. Yeah, feed them to the red wigglers. The red wigglers eat their waste and make beautiful, rich worm castings, and use that to, treat your garden. And what do you know? Using people's waste stream, which they're already throwing away anyway, we can create fertility for the farm. So yeah, it's closing the loop is what we're doing. Geez, you buy the bread here, you eat most of it, you cut the crust off a little Billy's sandwich, you save the crust in a compost bucket and bring it in, right? And we add that compost to the farm operation. Absolutely, it'll work. Yep. We're redirecting things. You read the newspaper, instead of throwing the newspaper out, bring it in. We'll compost it. Some of the best stuff out there is newsprint. It's slow, but it's rich in cellulose. And the inks are typically soy-based ink around here, so that's not really a problem. Leaves? How many leaves do you rake off your property every year? Geez, we can probably put together a work crew and just go around raking leaves. Hey man, we'll rake your leaves off your whole lawn for, $50 per acre or some darn thing. The really big jobs, you bring in some equipment. That should work. Is that Lemonhead Penny? Where have you been? Where have you been? Good Lord, I can't believe it's not butter. I didn't read the name there first. Well, good to see you back, man. Okay, guys, I've been rambling for what, 2 hours now? Yeah, that's 2 hours. If you like, you can watch the video again. If there are things you would like to see expounded upon more, I'd be more than happy to explain it in depth further. What I intend to do is break this whole spiel into chapters, have better graphics, better video, because this is all well and good. But I also needed to get some practice in. And if I'm going to talk for 2 hours, I may as well have an audience, get some feedback to it. Yup. And we'll go from there. But it's an idea, and I think its time has come. With the pandemic, we need jobs. We need local opportunity. We need to get those jobs from away and bring them back into town. Right? We're not going to shut down Bakersfield, California, because we're growing our own tomatoes right here. There's going to be plenty of people in the metropolitan areas that can't grow their own tomatoes because every bit of pavement is covering up any possibility of growing anything. But there's a lot that can be done. Even if you don't have a farm, you can still have the kitchen and store. Which sheet was that one? There you go. You can still have the kitchen and store. And perhaps you'll break off and have the kitchen and store and deli, or kitchen and store and bakery, or kitchen and store and I don't know, a milkshake or hamburger joint or pizza shop or specialized food thing. Only problem is, it's too easy, and it would work perfectly. People don't like easy. Okay, then double the price. Take twice their money when you get the thing going, and say, no, sorry, tough. You can't have it. It's not that it's difficult. Um, if this thing were to get big, right, where you have a little group here in Lake City, another one in Live Oak, another one in High Springs, another one in Madison, another one in Tallahassee, how long before, if this idea is catching on and we're talking and communicating and telling ideas and sharing ways of improving efficiency, how long before we start to drop Walmart by 5%? Because when you see that much go, they are going to come after us. So we got to, start crossing our T's and dotting our I's. Trying to get back to it. Yeah, but this can be done. The incentive is in place for people to get involved. The cost to do it, if you have enough people, drops to really affordable levels. A kitchen and store would be the start. We can get it in bulk, break it in small amounts, and turn it into something that is not, we take flour and make bread. We take chunk of meat and make steaks. We take ground beef and make hamburgers or meatloaf or whatever you like. Maybe we can make dinners to go or lunches to go. There's a lot that can be done with just the kitchen and store. Or what if, geez, somebody's got a really good cookie recipe. What if we could make cookies, put them in 1-pound containers, get appropriate labeling, and move them to convenience stores so we can put out massive numbers of cookies. You only make 25 cents on one of these 1-pound boxes, but if you're able to put out 5,000 boxes a week, that's what the kitchen can do. You put together a commercial product? Yeah, absolutely, that would work great. Multiple thumper kegs. Do you get into bars? What if you had, you got 200-300 people that like to drink beer and want to get their own bar? As long as they all understand that they don't own the whole thing outright and aren't going to come back behind the bar and start pouring drinks, then you could probably pull it off. Or frozen yogurt. Yeah. Hey, dude, you want to do a frozen yogurt and coin shop? That's all you. And if you can convince 200 other people or however many to get involved in that, I wish you well. Seriously. If you can pull that off, because I think there are 200 people who like frozen yogurt and coins and are currently spending money on frozen yogurt and coins. I'm not sure they're all in the same town, but if you live in a pretty sizable town, that might just be enough. Okay, guys, I got to take off. It's time for me to use the bathroom and probably take a nap, and then I got to watch this video again and take notes and see how I need to adjust it. So I'm going to let you go, okay? All right, I'm going to click on this button, if I can find it. And you guys stay safe out there, okay?